I don't remember much about the soldiers and the fighting and the war, 'cause I wasn't more than 6 years old at the surrender. But I do remember how Master Jordan Moss shot Leonard Allen, one of his slaves. I ain't never forget that. My mammy and Pappy Silo and Fanny Moss belonged to Master Jordan and Miss Sally Moss. They had about 300 niggas, and most of them worked in the cotton fields. And Master Jordan was hard on his niggas. He worked them overtime and didn't get enough to eat, and they didn't have good clothes neither. And their shoes was made out of wood. He had about a dozen niggas that didn't do nothing else but make wooden shoes for the slaves. And the children didn't have no shoes at all. They went barefoot in the snow and ice, same as 'twas summertime. I never had no shoes on my feet till I was past 10 years old. And that was after the Yankees done set us free. I was scared of Master Jordan, and all of the grown niggas was too, except Leonard and Burr Silent. Them niggas wasn't scared of nothing. If the devil himself had come and shook a stick at him, they'd hit him back. Leonard was a big black buck nigga. He was the biggest nigga I ever seen, and Burrs was near about as big. And they spies Master Jordan. I was sort of scared of Miss Sally too. When Master Jordan wasn't around, she was sweet and kind. But when he was around, she was a yes sir woman. Everything he told her to do, she done. He made her slap Mom at one time, 'cause when she passed his coffee, she spilled some in the saucer. And Miss Sally hit Mammy easy. But Master Jordan said, hit her, Sally. Hit the black bitch like she deserved to be hit. And then Miss Sally draw her hand back and hit Mammy in the face. Pow! And then she went back to her place at the table like she eating her breakfast. Then, when Master Jordan leaves, she come in the kitchen and put her arms around Mommy and cry. And Mommy pat her on the back, and she cried too. I loved Miss Sally when Master Jordan wasn't around. Master Jordan's 2 sons went to the war, and they went all dressed up in their fighting clothes. Young Master Jordan was just like Miss Sally. But Master Gregory was like Master Jordan, even to the bully way he walked. Young Master Jordan never come back from the war, but 'twould take more than a bullet to kill Master Gregory. He too mean to die. Anyhow, 'cause the devil didn't want him and the Lord wouldn't have him. One day, Master Gregory come home on a furlough, and he think he looked pretty with his sword clanking and his boots shining, and he was a colonel, lieutenant or something. He was strutting around the yard showing off, and when Leonard Allen say under his breath, "Look at that goddamn soldier. He fighting to keep us niggas from being free." About that time, Master Jordan come up, and he look at Leonard and say, "What you mumbling about?" And that big Leonard wasn't scared. He said, "I say, look at that goddamn soldier. He fighting to keep us niggas from being free." Master Jordan's face begun to swell. It turned so red that the blood near about bust out. He turned to Pappy and told him to go and bring him this shotgun. And when Pappy came back, Miss Sally come to with him. And the tears were streaming down her face. and she run up to Master Jordan and caught his arm. Old Master flung her off and took the gun from Pappy. He leveled it on Leonard and told him to pull his shirt open. Leonard opened his shirt and stood there bare as a big black giant sneering at old Master. Then Miss Sally run up again and stood between that gun and Leonard. Old Master yelled at Pappy and told him to take that woman out of the way. But nobody ain't moved to touch Miss Sally, and she didn't move neither. She just stood there facing old Master. Then old Master let down the gun. He reached over and slapped Miss Sally, then picked up the gun and shot a hole in Leonard's chest, big as your fist. Then he took up Miss Sally and toted her in the house. But I was so scared that I ran and hid in the stable loft, and even with my eyes shut, I could see Leonard laying on the ground with that bloody hole in his chest and that sneer on his black mouth. After that, Leonard's brother Burrs hated old Master, was a snake. And then one night he run away. Mammy say he run away to keep from killing old Master. Anyhow, when old Master found he was gone, he took a bunch of niggers and set out to find him. All day long they tramped the woods, and then when night come, they lit fat pine torches to keep looking. But they couldn't find Burrs. Next day, old Master went down to the county jail and got the bloodhounds. He brung home a great passel of them, pulling at the ropes. But when he turned them loose, they didn't find Burrs, 'cause he done greased the bottom of his feast with snuff and hog lard so the dogs couldn't smell the trail. Oh, Master done told all the niggas that if anybody housed and fed Burrs on the sly, that he gonna shoot them like he done shot Leonard. Then he went every day and searched the cabins. He even looked under the houses. One day in about a week, Miss Sally was feeding the chickens, and when she heard something in the pokeberry bushes behind the hen house, she didn't go round the house, but she went inside the house and looked through the crack. And there was Burrs, laying down in the bushes. He was near about starved, 'cause he hadn't had nothing to eat since he done ran away. And Miss Sally whispered and told him to lay still, that she gonna slip him something to eat. And she went back to the house and made up some more cornmeal dough for the chickens. And under the dough, she put some bread and meat. And when she went across the yard, she met Master Jordan. He took the pan of dough and said he gonna feed the chickens. My mammy say that Miss Sally ain't show no scare. She just smiled at old Master and put his arm down while she walked. She talked, and the pan go on to the chicken house. But old Master, he go too. And when it got to the hen house, old Master Puppy began snuffing round, and soon he started to bark. He cut up such a fuss that old Master went to see what was wrong. And then he found Burrs laying in the poke bushes. Old Master dragged Burrs out and drove him to the house. And when Miss Sally seed him take out his plaited whip, she run upstairs and jump into bed and stir her a pillow down over her head. They took Burrs to the whipping post and they stripped off his shirt. Then they put his head and hands through the holes in the top and tied his feet to the bottom. Then old Master took the whip, and that lash hissed like cold water on a red hot iron when it come through the air. And every time it hit Burris, it left a streak of blood. Time old Mars finished, Burris's back looked like a piece of raw beef. They laid Burris face down on a plank, and then they poured turpentine on them cut places. Burned like fire. But that nigga didn't know nothing about it because he done passed out from the pain. But all his life, that black man toted them scars on his back. And when the war ended, Miss Sally come to Mammy and say, Fanny, I'm so glad you's free. You can go now and you won't never have to be a slave no more. But Mammy, she ain't had no notion of leaving Miss Sally. She put her arms around her and called her baby and tell her she gonna stay with her as long as she lived. And she did stay with her. Me and Mammy both stayed. Miss Twat stayed with Miss Sally till she died.